Hell, it's about time.
What is up, everybody? It's Gibberish HS here, and today I'm here with another Saviors of Odun card review. We got a couple of new cards today, including the Warlock Legendary. I know that one came out a few days ago, but I was just not being able to review it, so we're going to get into it. So the first card we're going to go through today is Wreath. 4 cost 2/5 with Taunt and Reborn. It's a common for neutral. Very interesting card. I think it's going to be stronger in Arena, but we did see cards like the 4 cost 1/6 from Witchwood see some play. So it's more impossible it can see play in a deck. The Reborn definitely does add a good amount. I just think it'd be a lot better as a 4 cost 3/5 than 2/5, but you know, we don't get everything in these decks, so. Next card is the Conjured Mirage, and I actually think this card's really crazy because it reminds me a lot of Witchwood Grizzly. Witchwood Grizzly is a really good card into standard, and this card's like it except for it's cheaper with 2 less health. Plus, you play it and you know you're gonna get that. So, I've been seeing people rate this card like 3 stars. I think this card's more like a 4 to 5 star card. So we're going to move on to the Warlock Legendary. I know I'm kind of moving fast, but I really just wanted to get to this card, alright? This card has been a hot topic for a lot. It's a 5 cost 4/4 Dark Pharaoh to Con. Legendary Battlecry. For the rest of the game, your lackeys are 4/4s. This is crazy. We've already seen a lot of lackey stuff in Warlock already, but this card already pushes it over the edge. It is truly crazy. This card, you see, all you gotta do is play this card. We've seen this concept in the Rogue Quest, which got nerfed like 3 times. I'm not kidding, because it's just breaking the game. So, this card is really strong, because all you gotta do is play it. I would not be surprised if this card got nerfed, to be honest. So, I really like it. Definitely, without a doubt, 5 stars. Alright, next card is Desert Spear. 3 cost 1/3 for a hunter, and it's a common. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 locust with rush. Is that good weapon in stats? No. Is it good ability? Yeah, that's pretty good. I think it's pretty good because of the beast synergy more than anything. I can definitely see something like that with like Witchwood Grizzly or something like the 4 cost spell. So, a lot of possibilities. Right now, I'm going to give it 3 stars, but it's not bad. I just don't think it's amazing. Next is Embalmed Ritual, 1 cost priest spell. It's a common. It says give a minion reborn. To be honest, I don't think this card will see much play. I think it is a good card, don't get me wrong. But unless we see like a big priest, which we have cards to support that, we probably won't see this card very much, in my opinion. The reason why is because we've seen cards like this before in like Paladin and other classes where it's just like a cheap spell that does one thing, and they usually aren't played a lot. So maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I don't think it will get played that much. So, is it a good card? Yeah. Is it going to get played a lot? Probably not. So I'm going to give it 3 stars. Mortar Machine, 5 cost 8/8 mech. After your opponent plays a minion, give it reborn. So that is a really strong thing to give your opponent, but it does have a pretty good stat line. But compared to something like Mountain Giant, I think this card is really bad. So I'm not really sure. I would probably just, the mech is probably the best part with it because you can attach stuff to it. But like you probably want to do is play this and silence it and then attach stuff to it. I'm going to give it 2 stars. I really don't think this will see much play. Now in Arena, this can probably see a lot of play because it's, there are different rules in Arena. Alright, next card is Pharaoh Cat. 1 cost 1/2 beast for Rogue. Valkyrie, add a random reborn minion to your hand. This is actually a pretty good card. The stat lines aren't too bad. It's a beast, but I mean that doesn't really matter for Rogue. But adding just a random Reborn card, I mean, Reborn cards are fairly good that we've seen so far. Probably the worst one that you could probably get is like Mermy. So, and even that if you play this on turn 1, that's still good. So, I like it. Definitely, I'm going to give it 4 stars. Pharaohs Blessing. It's a 6-cost paladin spell. Give a minion +4 for Divine Shield and Taunt. So, we've seen cards like this in Paladin before, and they usually don't get played, it seems like. But you never know. I mean, this is a pretty good card. I see this more in maybe like an arena card than a standard card, but maybe in something like Holy Wrath Paladin, it could be played. It's a good stall card for Holy Wrath Paladin, actually, and it's a good amount of mana cost to help that deck. I like the card though, and I like the idea of giving Divine Shield and Taunt. It's really strong. I'm gonna rate it 4 stars. I hope it sees play in standard because that would actually be really cool. Alright, next card is one of the most unique cards that we've probably seen in the expansion so far. Shadow of Death. It's a 4-cost rogue spell, and it's an epic that says choose a minion, shuffle 3 shadows into your deck, that summon a copy when drawn. So basically, it's like Toggle Scheme mixed with Deck of Wonders. So you choose a minion, and then when you draw, you shuffle 3 copies of these shadows in your deck. And when these shadows are drawn, they just summon that minion. So a lot of people are thinking Mogu Cultist when they think of this card. I think of more just like a big minion. I really wish, to be honest, this was in a more different class, just because you could big paladin or big shaman or big priest or mage would all be so good with this card. But it's a rogue card, so we're going to work with that. A lot of people are thinking Mogu Cultist or the Desert Obelisk when they see this card. The problem is, if your opponent draws this on your turn, it's not as strong because then they can just kill that. And unless you drew 2 in a row for the Obelisk, it probably would be really hard. But it is a unique card. It's a different card that we usually haven't had in the Rogue set. Now, when you hear that, you may think, well, Gibberish, this is just like, Toggle Scheme or Gang Up. But it's actually quite different because it summons it when drawn. So that makes it a lot more powerful. Sure, it's a lot more mana, but it's a lot better reward in the late game. Now, the problem with this card is that it's going to be hard to get a full effect out of it, because unlike the other ones where you can plan with them and your opponent doesn't know when you get them, when you draw this, it summons it, which is a bonus, but it's also a curse. And then also when you're playing this, you can't play anything like the 4-cost spell that shuffles 20 cards of another class into your deck to cost 1. So if you play that, this card is basically going to be useless. So it is a good card. It's just it's going to be a very specific deck. And I think if it's going to be more of a meme card, but you never know. Next is Tomb Warden. Tomb Warden is an 8-cost 3/6 with Taunt for Warrior, and it's rare. Battlecry summon a copy of this minion. I actually think this card can be really crazy. With the Taunt Warrior synergies that we have seen so far, this card can definitely be really strong. It is more than possible to get something like, make this, a 5/8 or a 6/9. It's more than possible to get this, is what I'm saying. So, however much you buff this, I really think it's going to be really easy. It's basically a big chain gang, the 4-cost 2/3 that we saw in Frozen Throne, which eventually got nerfed because of Shudderwalk. This card is really good and 5 stars without a doubt. And the last card is 2-cost 2/2 with Lifesteal. Vile Fiend. It's a demon, just neutral. Not much to talk about. That's it. 3 stars. 2. Probably won't see play at all. Though I will say, it looks like a Baneling / Zergling, which I love that they did that. So there you go, guys. That was the cards that I reviewed today for the Saviors of Doom expansion. Check it out. And if you want, also check out my video on Sigma, the Overwatch hero. He's a pretty cool hero. Check it out. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye!